I dropped by to see my sister on her first day working at her father-in-law's company. I found her scrubbing toilets. Her father-in-law sneered. "She's only fit for work like this." Her husband just smirked. My sister looked at me and burst into tears from shame. I stayed silent. I simply turned around and dialed. Imagine walking in on the person you love most, your own sister, scrubbing a toilet, while her husband stands nearby, laughing. And then, you realize your entire family has been expecting you to foot the bill for their cruel little charade. What would you do when confronted with a betrayal that raw? My name is Gary. I'm 33, the oldest kid, the big brother, the one everyone always called reliable. I own a small toy store. You know, wooden trains, puzzles, those little birdhouses kids can paint. When children run through that door, they forget how to be grumpy, even for a few minutes. That's why I love it so much. I fix tiny wheels, tie ribbons, wrap birthday presents with far too much tape. People joke I'm like Santa, just without the beard. In my family, that Santa role became a job title. Gary will figure it out, my mom would say, whenever bills or problems popped up like stains on a white shirt. And for years I did. But I'm getting ahead of myself. It was my sister Mia's first day of work. She'd married young, and her father-in-law had supposedly hired her to help out. A lucky start, my mom called it. Connections, my dad added, proud, like he'd personally arranged the sky for her. I wanted to celebrate. I brought flowers, cheap, yeah, but bright. And cinnamon rolls, the sticky kind with too much icing, because Mia absolutely loved them. I parked behind the warehouse, followed the signs. The lobby smelled like printer paper and lemon cleaner. I asked the receptionist where to find her. Down the hall, left, then another left. She mumbled, not even looking up. Facilities. Facilities. I heard a voice before I saw anything. Loud. Careless. She's only good for this kind of job. Then laughter. A man's chuckle. And it was familiar. It was her husband. I stepped through that doorway and just froze. Mia was there, in rubber gloves, her face flushed, scrubbing a toilet. A bucket sat beside her. The flowers in my hand suddenly felt like a sick joke. She saw me, blinked, and her eyes filled fast. She wiped her face with the back of her wrist, leaving a wet streak. "Gary, please don't," she whispered. Her father-in-law stood with his arms folded, his gold watch catching the fluorescent light. "You family?" he asked me, not like a question, but a threat. I nodded, my mouth tasting like metal. My gaze snapped to Mia's husband, Daniel. He was smiling. Not nervous, not embarrassed. Smiling. "What are you doing?" I asked him. My voice came out flat, hollow. He just shrugged. "Everyone starts somewhere." Mia let out a small sound then. Half laugh, half joke. And that sound gutted me more than anything. She reached to pull the door closed. "Gary, it's fine," she said, her voice tiny. "It's my first day. I'm learning." I didn't say a word. I just set the flowers on the floor. I turned around, walked out past the receptionist, past a poster about teamwork, past a clipboard that said, "Safety first." I stepped outside into the sharp afternoon air and took a breath that hurt. Then I pulled out my phone. And I called. But first I should tell you how we got here. I've always been the fixer. My dad works seasonal construction and disappears when work is scarce. My mom does hair in our kitchen and calls it a salon. Mia, she's 27. She grew up hearing she had princess potential. She married Daniel last year, and that came with the whole family package. His father, Mr. Salman, owns a mid-sized logistics company and, let me tell you, a bad temper. When I opened my toy shop at 26, I didn't have investors. I had a shoebox of savings and a landlord who liked my idea. I painted the walls myself, bought used shelves, cut out price tags from cardstock. That first holiday season, I slept in the stockroom between shipments. People liked that I remembered their kids' names. I still have a crayon drawing a 4-year-old handed me that says, Gary's train store. With a crooked heart. I taped it behind the counter for luck. My family, they liked my shop as a concept. They liked that it made me sweet. What they did not like was when I started saying no. Before that, it was always yes. Gas money for Dad. Just until Friday. Grocery runs for Mom. I'll pay you back when my client shows. Phone bills accidentally charged to my card. My accounts looked like confetti. $140 here, $120 there, $300 in a pinch. When Mia got engaged, I covered deposits because Daniel had delays with a bonus. I printed the receipts and filed them in a folder labeled taxes. It should have said habits. Every holiday, the same jokes. Gary doesn't need gifts, he needs customers, Dad would say. Gary collects sob stories and stuffed animals, Mom would add, laughing like it wasn't mean. Mia wasn't cruel back then. She was just naive. You're good, she'd say, hugging me tight. That's why good things happen to you. But good things meant chores and checks and drives at midnight when someone drank too much. Good things meant my phone buzzing during inventory because Daniel's car died again. Can you Venmo me for an Uber? When Mia got married, the money problems multiplied. Suddenly, there were in-laws at every family dinner. Mr. Salmon was the kind of man who ordered the most expensive thing and made loud jokes about small-time people. He called my store cute, in a voice that made it an insult. At their engagement dinner, he said, when this one, he jerked his chin at me, decides to run a real business, he can come talk to me. Daniel laughed hard. Always performing. He sells puzzles, Dad. It's not exactly logistics. Mia looked embarrassed. I made a face that said I didn't care. But that night, I stayed late at the shop, counting boxes of wooden blocks, just so the anger could sit down. The wedding had a gift table like a mountain. My gift was cash. I don't do registry fights. That envelope was big for me. For them? A postage stamp. The next week, Mom called. We need to talk about the honeymoon fund, she said. There's a gap. How much? I asked. Not much, she lied first. Then, $3,000. I felt the number like a slap. Mom, if you love your sister, she said, she's starting a new life. I wired it. Stupid? Yes. But the way Mia texted me afterwards. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You saved us. That made it feel less stupid for about 5 minutes. Then came the chats. The family group chat. Rising Stars, Mom named it. Photos of fancy dinners. A new watch on Daniel's wrist. Captions like, hard work pays off. And, we are blessed. If I sent a photo of a child holding a wooden plane, no one responded. If I sent a video of a toddler ringing the little bell by the register after choosing a sticker, Mom would heart it, then paste a link to an article about real entrepreneurship. When Mia told us she'd be working with the family, there were fireworks in the chat. Daddy will teach you. Power couple. No one asked what the job was. No one asked if she wanted it. And then I saw her cleaning the toilet. I didn't call to yell. I called to verify. First, Mom. What? She said, already defensive. Do you know where Mia is working? She's lucky, Mom said. Who else will give a young woman a chance? A chance. Like this? I asked. With rubber gloves? On her knees? Silence. Then a sigh. Don't be dramatic. Her husband was smiling. I said. Men joke. Mom said. Stop making trouble. Then I called Mia. She didn't pick up. Then Daniel. He answered on the second ring, cheerful like a radio host. Gary. You met the team? I saw Mia. I said. Explain. It's the first day, he said. Dad's showing her discipline. It builds character. Everyone starts at the bottom. That's not a bottom. I snapped. That's humiliation. He laughed. You're sensitive. You always were. He paused, then added, By the way, we're moving into a bigger apartment. We'll do a housewarming soon. Bring that famous Gary dip. Something hard settled in my chest. The week after, the request escalated. Mia's car needs new tires. Can you help? We're short on rent while her first paycheck clears. Mom's salon sink cracked. Urgent. Each message with a please and 3 crying emojis like sugar on a bruise. I helped once, twice. Then I opened my accounting app and scrolled. Money out. Money out. My landlord had raised rent at the shop. A supplier wanted prepayment because of market delays. I stared at my numbers and felt a cold line draw through me. I typed in our family chat. We need to talk about money. No one answered for 3 hours. When they did, it was Mom, not on text. Sunday dinner, 6 p.m. I spent the rest of the week with a knot in my stomach, organizing receipts by category, Mia and Daniel, parents, miscellaneous. I printed bank screenshots and highlighted dates. It felt like homework for a subject I hated. Saturday, Mia came into the shop. She wore sunglasses and carried a paper cup of coffee. She stood by the display of kites and touched the blue one like it was fragile. I'm fine, she said without me even asking. You don't look fine, I said. I can handle it, she replied. Don't embarrass me. I won't, I said. But I'm done paying for people who insult you. Her laugh was small and mean, borrowed from someone else. You always act like a hero. I'm tired of acting, I said. She left without buying anything. I watched the bell on the door swing and go still. Sunday dinner was at my parents' house. Plastic tablecloth with cherries. Grease on the stove that had been there longer than any apology. The TV was on in the living room, low, as if conflict needed a soundtrack. Everyone was already there. Mom, holding a serving spoon like a scepter. Dad, scrolling on his phone. Mia, quiet, eyes rimmed red. Daniel, smiling, always smiling. Mr. Salman had invited himself, which is to say, he'd announced he was coming, and no one told him no. Let's eat first, Mom said, which meant, let's corner Gary after dessert. No, I said, let's talk first. Mom rolled her eyes. Fine, banker. What's your issue? I put a folder on the table. I could feel Daniel's smirk from across the room. This, I said, is everything I've covered in the last 18 months. I slid out the first page. Rent catch-up, wedding deposits, honeymoon gap, car repairs, utilities, groceries, loan to Dad for a week. That became 6 months. Dad muttered. I said I'd get it. You didn't, I said, my voice calm. Total is $18,420. Mom laughed a little. Drama. I flipped the next page. Average monthly outflow to family, $1,023. My shop's profit last quarter, $1,180 per month. Do the math. Daniel leaned back. So what, Gary? Money comes and goes. Family stays. Not like this, I said. Mr. Salman cleared his throat loudly. In my house, he announced, though we were absolutely not in his house. We respect the providers. Do you respect my sister? I asked him, my eyes on his watch, not his face. Or is she just a mop with a heartbeat? Mia flinched. Careful, Daniel said, his voice low. Careful, I repeated. I watched your father call her stupid while you smiled. It was a joke. He snapped. It wasn't, I said. I put my phone on the table. Here, I recorded 5 minutes of it. I hit play. His voice filled the small kitchen. She's only good for this kind of job. Then laughter. Daniel's laughter. It sounded worse when it bounced off the fridge. Mom's mouth tightened. Dad looked at the salt shaker like it held answers. I paused the audio. Here's what's going to happen, I said. No more money from me. Not for rent. Not for cars. Not for promotions disguised as favors. I'm not your safety net. I'm not your bank. Mom's tone turned syrupy, then sharp. Gary, don't make ultimatums. That's ugly. What's ugly? I said. Is watching my sister get humiliated and pretending it's a plan. What's ugly is being told I'm sweet while you treat me like an ATM with arms. Daniel's smile finally cracked. You think you're better than us because you sell toys? I think I've been financing your lifestyle while you play Prince. I said. Dad finally spoke. So what? You'll let your family starve? No one here is starving. I said. And if you were, you'd sell that watch before you text me. Silence. The TV hummed. The smell of overcooked rice hung heavy. Mia whispered, Gary, please. For you. I said, softening only for her. I'll help once if you want out. Not for another month of this. For a real exit. Daniel stood, his chair scraping. She's not going anywhere. She decides? I said. He laughed in my face. You can't tell her what to do. I'm telling you what I won't do. I said. We're done. Mom slammed the spoon down. You're ungrateful. For what? I asked. For being used? She opened her mouth, closed it, and did the thing she always does. Went for the throat. No wonder you never married. Who would want? I held up a hand. Stop. Then I slid the last page across the table. A simple spreadsheet with 2 columns, money in, money out. Dates, memo lines, receipts, Venmos, screenshots. The kind of document no one can argue with, because numbers don't blush. I'm done, I said again, steady now. Boundaries are not betrayal. I stood. I expected someone to follow me, to drag the fight out the door. No one did. The house made that old settling sound as I left, as if it knew something had shifted inside its walls. The first week, my phone was a fireworks show. Missed calls, group chat explosions. Rising stars. Turned into a courtroom. Mom, you humiliated us. Dad, real men don't keep score. Daniel, you owe Mia an apology. Mia, can we talk alone? I answered only Mia. We met at a coffee shop with sticky tables and good muffins. She wore the same sunglasses. The barista knew my name. He drew a little train next to Gary on the cup. I'm mad at you, she said without a hello. That's allowed, I said. You made me look weak, she said. You're not weak, I countered. You're in a bad system. Her jaw clenched. I chose my husband. Did you choose his father? I asked. Did you choose to be trained with bleach? She blinked hard. It's not like that every day. Once is too much, I said. Look, I'm serious about help. If it's for an exit, I found a small apartment over a bakery. Month to month. I can cover the deposit. I can drive you there with your stuff. I can change the locks. Her eyes flashed, then went flat. So you'll still pay. Just your way. I'll invest in you, I said. Not in them. She tore a napkin into strips. He'll be furious. Men survive fury, I said. Shame rots you faster. She didn't answer. We sat there, the napkin pile growing. When we left, she hugged me, too quick, like a reflex. That night she texted. Not now. Then, love you. Both things true at once. At the shop, something else shifted. I showed up with a clean stomach, no invisible debts pulling at my coat. I put out a new display of marbles that caught the light like small planets. A kid pressed his nose to the glass and whispered, Wow. A dad asked if we still did birthday bundles. I said yes, and added an extra sheet of stickers, because I could. My landlord came by. Thinking of selling? He asked, casual. My heart knocked. Should I be worried? He shrugged. Market's weird, but your place brings foot traffic. You're good. That night, I pulled my numbers again. With the outflow stopped, my budget breathed. I added a class. Saturday Fix-It Hour, where kids bring broken toys and I teach them to glue, sand, be gentle. The first Saturday, 7 kids showed up. By week 3, we had 12 and a wait list. Parents stood by the door, sipping coffee, smiling the way people smile when their kids are quiet and careful. One afternoon, a woman came in with a little boy carrying a stuffed dinosaur with one arm missing. "Can you help Mr. Gary?" he asked like we'd known each other forever. "Let's try," I said. We sat at the repair table. I showed him how to thread a needle. His tongue stuck out in concentration. When we finished, he hugged the dinosaur. Then me. "Quick." His mom tapped the tip jar. "For the kindness fund," she said. I put the bills in the envelope labeled Community. That envelope had been thin for months. It puffed up again. On the wall behind the counter, I added another crayon drawing. At home, quiet became my favorite sound. I realized I hadn't cooked a proper dinner in weeks, so I made a pot of soup big enough for leftovers. I ate at the table instead of standing by the sink. I slept through the night. The family took longer to adjust. Mom tried a new angle. Nostalgia. "Remember when you scraped your knee and I made popsicles?" she texted. "I do," I replied. "Boundaries still stand." She waited a day. Then, "No one will take care of us when we're old." "You're not old," I wrote. "Start today." Dad sent me a link to a tool set he wanted. "On sale," he wrote. "Nice," I replied. Period. Nothing else. Daniel sent paragraph after paragraph. "You embarrass me. You're jealous. You're a child selling toys. Real men provide." I didn't respond. The world didn't end. Mia sent fewer texts, but sweeter ones. A photo of the bakery window with the "apartment for rent" sign. Then no comment. A photo of her hand without her wedding ring. Then no comment. Then a photo of the ring on a napkin, with the words, "I'm not ready," written in pen. I hearted the photo and wrote, "I'm here. Not money, not rescue. Just here." 2 weeks later, she asked me to meet her outside her place. She had a duffel bag and a box of shoes. "Don't make a speech," she said. "I won't," I said. We drove to the apartment over the bakery. The landlord, a small woman with a silver braid, showed us a studio with a blue door and a view of the alley with string lights. It smelled like cinnamon. Mia touched the window frame and nodded. "Okay." I paid the deposit. She signed the lease. She cried in the stairwell where no one could see. Daniel called 9 times that night. The 10th time, I picked up. "She's safe," I said. "You think you can steal my wife?" he yelled. "She's a person," I said. "She can't be stolen. She can choose." "I'll come get her," he said. "She doesn't want that," I said. "I'll talk to your mother," he said like a threat. "Talk to your father," I said and hung up. I expected chaos. Instead, it was boring. And boring, I learned, is the opposite of crisis. Mia got a job at a daycare 2 bus stops away. She came by the shop on her lunch break and ate sandwiches behind the counter. We didn't discuss the toilet or the video or the ring. We talked about kids who say, "Passetti," about which glue works best on plastic dinosaurs. She started to smile like herself again, slow and real. News traveled, as it always does. Our aunt called to say she was proud. Our cousin messaged me that he was reevaluating some stuff. Dad pretended nothing happened. Mom posted a Bible verse about forgiveness on Facebook and tagged no one. Mr. Salman never called me. He sent a message to Mia that said, "Ungrateful girl." She didn't reply. She blocked his number. The group chat went quiet. Then it renamed itself. Not Rising Stars anymore. Just family. No emojis. People think the hard part is the fight. For me, the hard part was the stillness. After the hours where I didn't have to be on call, where I could hear my own thoughts without someone else's emergency scratching at the door, I started keeping a little notebook under the counter at the shop. Not for expenses. For good things. Tuesday, A girl traded 2 rocks for a marble and then brought the marble back and said she missed her rocks. We traded again. Thursday, a dad cried when his son said his new kite was the wind's best friend. Saturday, a teenager bought a puzzle and said, "For my brain." I wrote them down because I used to write down bills and bargains. Disguised as love. This was better. One evening, closing time, I looked at the crayon drawings on the wall and saw there was no space left. A good problem. I moved the bell and hung a new corkboard. I wrote a small sign. Proof that people are good. It filled up fast. Mom came by the shop a month later. She hovered near the door like the bell might bite. "Hi," I said. She looked around as if expecting an audience. "You look well," she said. "I am," I said. She picked up a small wooden car and turned it over. "We did not do right by you," she said, plain for once. I didn't rush to fill the silence. She put the car down carefully. "I am learning something," she said. "When I call you only when I need something, you answer less. That's how phones work," I said, and smiled to soften it. She breathed out. "Coffee?" "Sure," I said. "But no money talk." "No money talk," she repeated. We walked to the bakery downstairs. Mia was behind the counter. Hair up. Laugh easy. She saw us, and for a second I saw the younger version of us. The kids who shared a torn comic book and a pack of gum. She handed Mom a coffee. "On the house," she said. Mom reached into her purse. "I'll pay." Mia shook her head. "I want to." We sat by the window. The world did not burst into flames. We talked about the weather and muffins, and the way the new bus route shaved 8 minutes off the commute. Ordinary miracles. That night, Daniel texted me, "You ruined everything." I stared at the screen for a long minute. Then I deleted the conversation and blocked the number. My hands didn't shake. My chest felt light. At the shop closing time, a little boy rang the bell 3 times, because one felt too small. His mom apologized. "He's overexcited." "That's allowed," I said. He held up a crooked drawing of a train and said, "Can it go on the wall?" "Absolutely," I said. He watched me pin it up. It took the last empty space on the new corkboard. Walking home, I called Mia. "You good?" "I'm okay," she said. "I signed up for evening classes. Early childhood education." "Proud of you," I said. "You always say that," she replied. "I always mean it," I said. At my apartment, I sat at the table where I used to sort receipts no one respected. I wrote one more thing in my notebook: I'm not an ATM. I'm a person. I can be kind and say no. Both truths fit in one body. I closed the notebook. I slept. Here's the moral, in case you need it as plain as I did: love without boundaries is just a slow way to drown. Saying no isn't cruelty. It's a life jacket you hand to yourself. And sometimes, the loudest kindness you can offer the people you love is refusing to fund their worst habits. I'm Gary. Oldest kid. Toy store owner. Former family bank. Present tense: brother, son, man with a door you can knock on for coffee, conversation, a place to breathe. Not for bailouts. I won't apologize for that. Not now. Not again. And if anyone asks what changed, I'll tell them the truth. I saw my sister on a floor she didn't deserve, and I decided we were done living like that. So I'm curious. Have you ever had to draw a line in the sand with family, even when it felt impossible? What was your line moment? I'd really love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.